And at this frequency, you are listening to The Woodsman. Come with us at eventide as we walk with the real Jesus, who spoke Galilean Aramaic, and unveiled the truth in what he said and did, and the reason that he came. We welcome you, brothers and sisters of love and light. Come immerse yourself in the Ruah, the wind, breath, and spirit of Jesus, Mary, Messiah. Menahe, Mena. We who are given to each other. Thank you for joining us today as we discuss Hollywood for Jesus, locations versus the real locations. Busloads of tourists, mainly Christians, go to designated sites in and around Jerusalem, Israel, each year, bringing some $2 billion into the local economy and employing 6% of their workforce, and much of it promoting Hollywood for Jesus. Preachers gather their church flocks, put them on planes to Israel, where tour groups, mass in numbers, drive them to false locations so they can take photos, listen to sermons from man's Bible, and buy souvenirs to share with family and friends who couldn't afford to blow their money in Hollywood, Israel. It has even extended into heaven, where televangelists like Jim Bakker will sell you property in heaven. All you have to do is send him a check, as apparently God has Jim working overtime as a real estate agent for heaven, working on his behalf, just keeping the cash flow coming in. What's sad is Jim really believes this, and what's worse is the crazy sheep humans who actually send a check thinking that they can buy their way into heaven. But when we overcome ourselves, egos, and step aside from the mass, used car sales approach and money-driven view of life, we see things much differently. Here are some historical facts about locations of Jesus that were real, evolving from the restored and translated Gospel of John in Galilean Aramaic, the true witness of the language Jesus spoke with his followers and where they went. Wadi Cherith is an offshoot riverbed ravine near the Jordan River, where at dawn on Sunday, the first day of the year at Passover, 29 AD, Jesus was anointed in a spiritual union with the dove, Mary Magdalene, with John the Immerser as a witness to the event, beginning his and Mary's one-year ministry until Passover, April 30 AD. Note 1 Kings 2-4, God sends Elijah to hide at Wadi Cherith, and St. George's Monastery was built close by. Jesus did not get baptized in the Jordan. Mary Magdalene's home, Visite Anna, was located approximately 9,100 feet from the temple to the northwest side on the Mount of Olives. It was a compound, a place for the sick, mainly lepers, and the name means House of the Poor One. There is no building there today. This was also the place of the Last Supper, not in Jerusalem. Mary Magdalene's family's other second leper location was in Capernaum in Galilee, the same village as that of Jesus' home and the headquarters for the Nazarene. Road to Emmaus, written about in the post-resurrection period, was in northern Galilee, where Mary Magdalene comes across two people who were witnesses to the crucifixion of Jesus, and she walked with them as they told her what had happened, not recognizing who she was. When they stopped to eat, she broke bread like Jesus did at the Last Supper and offered it to the two witnesses. And when they ate the bread, they looked up at Mary, and they saw instead Jesus, whose spirit now lived within Mary. Hebron, Mount Gerizim in Samaria, the Cave of Treasures, as it was known as the Cave of Machpelah, the Megalchican order outside of Shechem, where the Samaritan Ark of the Covenant from Moses' time was kept in safekeeping. Mary Magdalene, as the priestess, resided over this place, as did John the Immerser, not Baptist, who was considered the high priest passed down through his parents. However, when Jesus and Mary were married, they became the high priest and priestess of Melchizedek, and John turned the keys of the Cave of Treasures over to them. Small garden, Gata, in Jerusalem. The Last Supper was in Visite Anna, and when they left after supper, they traveled west across the Kidron Brook, also known as the Black Brook, from the blood that had run down the hillside from the temple sacrifices, to a small garden, Gata, in Galilean Aramaic, north of the temple, where Judas had gone there with Jesus and Mary many times. This sacred garden tomb was very private, a sacred burial ground of the high priest and the wealthy, and it had a wall and a gate surrounding it, and only a select few could enter. It was known as the place of wedding immortality for Jesus and Mary. From the Gospel of Thomas, Legion 75. There are many standing at the gate, but only the whole ones enter into the bridal chamber. Notice it was not Gethsemane on the Mount of Olives. Gethsemane means olive press, and there were many around Jerusalem and the surrounding area. However, this secret small garden was where Judah handed over Jesus per his instructions, and the same place they, Jesus and Mary, were put into the tomb. To the contrary, tours take thousands for a fee every year over to a grove of olive trees on the Mount of Olives, every year promoting Jesus' resting place at the Gethsemane. Bethlehem, a favorite for Christians at Christmas time, located south of Jerusalem. But was this really the birthplace? Well, no. There is a Bethlehem of Galilee, Bethlehem HaGilead, the Galilean Bethlehem near Hayat Sivan, 10 miles northwest of Nazareth. Nazareth, which did not exist in Jesus' day, and at best was a type of a rest area overnight for travelers. This Bethlehem and its meaning, which is quite different than the other Bethlehem, house of bread, will be discussed in detail in another video. So we can see in the 6 locations the dramatic differences, and it changes the underlying message of the story of the real Jesus and what he said and what he did.